So you have your 23&me data and your genetic test results, and you want to know what you can do with it besides just looking at your ancestry. In fact, it's incredible. The information you get from that can lead you to so much more in ways of improving your health, making your work-life balance better, making your hormones more optimized. So let's dig into this a little bit. So I'm going to share a screen here with you so you can see a little bit of this information. I'm going to show you an example report. And it's incredible with this information. So we use the Aperion system. It's cutting edge. Um, the clinic down there and the researchers know exactly what they're looking at. In fact, we look at a lot of stuff that even the 23&me doesn't look at. So we go off the raw data off the bottom, at the bottom of the screen that most people don't even look at or just kind of glance over. And we take that and we're going to look at a few things. So with this report here, we're going to look at diet. We're going to look at some supplementation. We're going to look at sleep. Now there's other stuff we can look at too. A key thing is actually going to be athletic performance and how your body responds to stress. With that information, we can build you a plan to get from point A to point B, and basically to optimize your health over a period of time. So let's kind of look at the report here. One of the key things we're going to look at is hunger and satiety. How hungry are you? Why are you hungry? Genetically, what is the issue? What's causing you to be hungry? So we look at these different things. You're going to notice right over here on the second one here, you have the genes and you have the genotypes. These are the two things that play the importance in there. So what the switch is and how your switches are activated. And what you need with these, even though it just says AG or it says GG, we don't look at just one by itself, and nothing exists in a vacuum. We have to look at several of these and have them weighted out. Now you'll see at the bottom here, it'll say hunger for this person's low, satiety is going to be pretty typical. And so we want to kind of identify that what's going to be for you. So we're going to run through a few of these. We have hunger and satiety, insulin resistance, and a lot of people look at this dairy sensitivity and gluten sensitivity. A lot of people think they're gluten sensitive when really they're not. They're more glutamic acid sensitive, and we kind of look at that over here on the grain sensitivity. So you see straight off, if you've been on a gluten-free diet and you don't actually have gluten-free or gluten sensitivity, we might be able to change your diet and just get the same benefits or better benefits out of what you're going through. Sweet snacking. So this actually goes with your perception of sweetness. So are you a person that has to have coffee, have to have a lot of sugar in it, or can you drink it fine, just straight black and enjoy the bitterness? Response to carbohydrates. So this tells us, is ketogenic diet going to be optimal for you? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We're going to look at total fats and your body response to that with saturated fats, polyunsaturated. That kind of keys us in if maybe a Mediterranean or a Mediterranean paleo or a ketogenic Mediterranean diet is going to be optimal for you. Response. Now we're a huge fan of olive oil and extra virgin olive oil, so you can see some of the monounsaturated. Protein. So we look at low optimal intake. And with this, we'll actually give you numbers on percentage. When that says low protein, it means in relationship to your carbohydrates and your fats. So we'll look at a few other things here. Plant sterols, basically the anti-vegetarian gene, how your metabolism is, your resting metabolic rate. And then we have some worksheets that we come up with what's going to be ideal for you. Going into supplementation, we're going to look at some B vitamins. B12 is always a big one. You actually see folate coming up. That's responsible for a lot of disease states if those levels aren't where they need to be. Selenium is a cofactor. We have magnesium, brain function, muscle function, spasm, even bowel and digestion. Some choline, vitamin C, vitamin E. Vitamin D is a huge one, especially where we're located with a lot of the cloud cover. And so we always recommend vitamin D supplementation. But this way we could fine tune it even more than just doing repeated lab work, because we'll get a good sense of how fast your body metabolizes, how long it holds on to it, and how well you absorb it. Vitamin K has a responsibility from keeping your arteries from becoming too hard with calcium. There's your folate we talked about, some thiamine, and some of the iron. You can see this is pretty extensive with nitric oxide and sodium. Now, I always like to stop and talk about this one because caffeine, everybody, for the most part, knows how they respond to caffeine, but it's kind of nice when you can know that you're able to drink a little bit more coffee without having the ill effects. So we look at some of the genetic data on this to see how your body responds. Do you have a slow metabolism? Do you have a fast metabolism? And the anxiety risk with it. So we can be one of those people, maybe you're one of the persons like maybe you can drink coffee at 4 o'clock in the evening, 5 o'clock, and still be able to go to bed at time because you have a fast metabolism for coffee. So one of the things we can talk about is the amount of time that actually has in there. We're also going to just take a look at some sleep. You have your sleep propensities. What's your cycle? Are you a delayed onset or early onset? So when do you need to go to sleep? Earlier or later in the night? We talk about latency. So what's pretty typical genetically, why you would have a longer or shorter latency, meaning the time between when your head hits the pillow and the time when you actually fall asleep and start getting into the deeper phases. So sleep duration, quality of sleep. When we look at this, we're also at some point going to have to talk about the different brain waves and how sleep affects you with REM, non-REM delta, and deep sleep with that. Narcolepsy risk, restless leg, and some of the recommendations we have with that. Now, a couple of the reports I didn't include on here are stress response, hormones, detoxification, and athletic performance. So there's a lot of other topics that we can look at and investigate with your genetic data. So if you have the data and want something else to do with it, there are professionals out there like myself that can help you with it. If you're just trying to get started and just trying to figure out how you can optimize yourself, the genetic route is the way to go. Now, there's a lot of other systems out there besides just 23&me. So if you need help selecting that before you just go and jump into that, there are other options out there, and I'm happy to help you try and select the appropriate way with that. So if you'd like to have a time to see if this is going to be ideal for you, if you go to enlivencenter.com and you go to the bottom of the page, fill out the form, we'll set up a 15-minute video consultation. It'll be a free video chat with us to see if we can help you out with your genetic data and see if we're going to be a good fit for each other. Hope to hear from you soon. I'm Dr. Leonetti.